everybody, this is Moody, and I hope you're having a wonderful day today because we are finally getting going with this stinking channel. So, what is this channel exactly? 1. Read myths. 2. Explain the myth. And 3. Have some fun with it. So, let's start with the basic of the basics. What is a myth? What is a legend? And how do these two things help us in society today? So let's get going. In essence, the word mythology is made up of two separate parts. The first being ology. Ology is a term or suffix that is used when describing the study of, such as biology, the study of life. This applies to the word mythology as well. So it is the study of myth or mythos. Mythos is an old fancy term of saying religion. On to the actual definition of a mythos versus a legend. A myth typically is defined as something that is in basis of religion. There's typically a deity somewhere surrounding the story's timeline. That's the other thing. A myth will typically come in a series of stories to explain the beforehand and the after. Third thing about myths is that they will always have a moral to the story. Typically, one that is being taught through a hero, heroine, or protagonist. The antagonist almost never receives their lesson and becomes the villain. Now let's talk about legends. Typically, you'll hear this when you think, oh, it's an urban legend, or you'll think it's equated to something like a myth or a story. The truth is that a myth and a legend couldn't be more different. A legend is something that is not based in religion. That's the first and most important thing. Second thing, legend typically has to do with a creature of some sort, be this a bestial creature, typically called a cryptid. Things that fall under this description are the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot. The third thing about legend, they are based in a local story, either a local event or something that has happened in the past and will vary from town to town based on how it's told. Some legends expand beyond their original borders, creating a legend that becomes national, such as Bloody Mary. That's how urban legends get started, and creepypastas. What is the connection between these two things that make people think myth and legend are synonymously the same thing? Well, they're stories, for one, things that aren't necessarily true or can be proven. But the biggest thing is that they teach us morals. When people first started telling stories, they were in order to teach children either morality about what was really worth fighting for and what wasn't, such as the War of Troy, two men fighting over a woman that really none of them should have been fighting about. Or it was something to explain a natural phenomenon, such as the Irish myth of the Danube River, where it was created in to flow knowledge throughout the entire world. Or things were told just to entertain people and explain the characters a little more that were in the story, such as the myth of Loki stealing Freya's necklace just for his greed. But either way, these myths, these legends are all told in order to teach a lesson. You won't exactly go into the woods in New Jersey if you think there's a giant devil beast about to kill you. To recap, a legend is typically told within a local area and then sometimes spreads. Almost always includes a cryptid or non-human creature and has no religious base. A myth is typically, if not always, based on religion of the time and area. The protagonists are almost always a hero in some way or another, and stories in myth will typically follow a timeline in order to explain the background or future setting. So, now that we've learned all that, I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. Yeah, it's a little glitchy. I'm getting used to all of it. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.